On day 1, I smashed out of a block of ice as a warden. Wait, I'm an Ice Warden? And I have 20 hearts? I looked around and realized that I was on top of a mountain. I didn't have much time to think as the sky went dark and a large skeleton appeared. Wait a second, do I know you?
You pesky warden, you will pay for what you've done to my vision!
Wait, what did I do? I can't even remember a thing. The skeleton started to attack me. I was about to fight back when one of his attacks hit me. Ah! That hurt! I had no choice but to run away with the terrifying Lich chasing after me. Why was he so angry with me? And more importantly, why was I made out of ice? On day 2, I was trying to make my way out of the cold biome, but everywhere I went, there seemed to be more snow. I realized I was in the middle of a desert, but there was snow falling and accumulating here. The entire world had been encased in this massive blizzard. Before I could even think, a stray with a group of ice skeletons showed up.
Defeat the warden! He must pay for what he did to the ice lich!
The group of skeletons started to rush at me and shoot arrows.
Charge!
I felt a surge of energy coming from inside of me, and I unleashed an ice sonic boom, taking many of the skeletons down. I continued to fight with them until only the stray was left.
We'll be back, you big scary little beast! And with greater numbers, too! This isn't the last time that you have seen of me!
And what was that guy's deal? I can't think of this right now. I continued on my journey to hopefully find something that wasn't affected by this blizzard. On day 3, as I was traveling through the blizzard, I noticed something shining in the ice. I made my way closer and noticed there were tools stuck inside. I broke the ice and was able to gather an entire set of tools. These were some kind of special ice tools. I wonder how long these have been trapped here. I continued to travel and I started to think that I wasn't going to be able to make it out of this storm anytime soon. I need to build a base. I went out and gathered materials from an area around me. I was even able to gather some coal. Man, it's freezing. Once I had enough materials, I began to build a base. It wasn't much, but it would at least keep me out of the cold. I tried to remember back before this world was covered in ice. How did this happen? Was I involved? You'll never get away with this. Do you understand me? Ha! Oh, man, wait a minute. I remember fighting with that lich in a much different world before everything had turned into ice. This has to be why I can't remember my past. I need to figure this out sooner rather than later. On day 4, I continued to search for a break in the storm. As I traveled, I noticed a group of iced over zombies attacking a squirrel and a seal. I rushed toward them to save them. Leave them alone, you monsters! Lucky for me, these guys were just as weak as the skeletons. It didn't take long until I'd taken all of them down. Are you guys okay? I hope you weren't harmed.
A warden? Man, thanks for saving us. We really owe you one.
Something is happening at my home.
The squirrel told me he had run into the seal while looking for help after fleeing from his home. I gave him the coordinates to my base and quickly rushed off toward where he said his home was. When I arrived at this forest, I noticed that it was the first area that was not completely covered by a blizzard. Man, this is awesome. I even saw regular chickens running around. Wait, what's going on? What's that noise? I spoke too soon because I started hearing rumblings and noticed that the biome was slowly changing and everything was starting to be covered in snow. No! I even noticed that the group of chickens in the area had been covered in a layer of ice as well. This doesn't seem normal. It seemed like the storm was spreading and I was going to need to get to the bottom of it. On day 5, I spotted a village and began to make my way toward it. I needed to see if there's any information that I can get about this storm. As I got closer, I noticed that some of the villagers were also covered in ice. Wait, so is this happening to every single mob? I saw some of them were even completely trapped in as well. I walked up to one of the ice villagers. Hey, what happened here?
Warden! Our people call him Avala.
Avala? He described to me the skeleton I saw on day 1 and how he had been slowly converting the entire world to this eternal winter.
That isn't even the worst part. Villagers!
The sound of raid bells began to ring out and a massive group of ice pillagers began to enter the village. They started to attack everyone, including me. I had to fight back and help defend these people. The pillagers' health appeared to be weakened, like everything else in this frozen world, but they still put up a good fight. It feels like they're doing more damage. How? After a long battle, I took out the last one. I felt myself growing stronger and whoa, what? I lost 5 hearts, and the rest were slightly covered in ice. I then noticed that I had acquired a new snow breath. I also saw that the pillager had dropped something. It looked like a map that led out of the snow. I told the villagers that I would be back to help, but first, I needed to check on my new friends at my base. On day 6, I was headed home. As I got closer, I saw the group of chickens running around sporadically. Hey, these are the same guys I saw earlier. Suddenly, they all randomly died. Wait, what? What happened? This doesn't make any sense. Was it the weather? I have to get home. I arrived and saw the squirrel and seal were shivering in my house. They introduced themselves as Samuel and Flipper. I got to work making them places to live at. Once I had finished, both of them approached me and thanked me for my hard work. I told them that I would return soon, but I needed to see where this map led. As I was leaving, Samuel said,
Bring food if you find any.
I followed the map, but all I saw was more and more snow. I was starting to lose hope until I saw it. There was a break in the snow, and I was so excited to see something other than ice. I hurried through the biome, looking for any signs of food to bring home to my friends, but I ran into a player.
Wow, a warden made out of ice? That's like crazy, dude.
I explained to him the massive storm I just walked through.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
You want to bet on it? Fine. When you find out I'm right, you owe me a bunch of food. The player told me that we had a deal and began to follow me. I led the player to the snowy area, and we began to travel through it together. The player was stunned to see it.
It's real. It's all real. Well, a deal's a deal.
The player dropped me a bunch of cooked beef, as well as seeds to start a farm with. Thanks. I asked him for his name, and he responded, Tony. I told Tony where I lived and offered him a place to stay, but he said that he had bigger plans for a way to beat this. Oh, do you now, huh? Before he could elaborate more, the stray and his group of skeletons showed up.
Yeah! Ooh, we're back for round 2, baby! You're done now, Ice Warden!
They started to fire arrows at us. Tony began to run around in panic while I fought off the skeletons. These guys seemed to be way tougher than the first time. How? I was able to fight off all the skeletons before turning to see Ned was leading Tony away from us.
You're my prisoner, you hear me? You player? Sucks to suck, Warden!
A little help here, Warden.
This guy is seriously so annoying. I chased after him and noticed we were approaching a large ice temple. On day 8, I entered the ice temple trying to catch up to Tony. Finally, Ned let him go, and I shot a sonic boom at him, but missed.
I gotta get out of here.
He ran off before I could stop him. Oh man, looks like I'm on my own. I started to search the temple for any signs of Ned until I entered a large room. Standing in the middle of it was the giant skeleton from before. This guy again? Before I could prepare to fight, he said,
Great to see you again. I'm happy you made it here. After all, none of this could have been done without you.
Without me? What did that mean? The skeleton refused to answer, but began to attack me. I started to fight back. Even with my new resistance, his attacks were still hurting me a lot. I had no choice but to run away. I used my ice breath to freeze him in place so I could escape. As I was traveling back to base, I started to think about what he had said.
None of this could have been done without you.
Ha!
It worked! It worked!
I returned to my base, so it was me. I caused everything. This eternal winter is my fault. How could I have done something so foolish? Was I a bad guy? And if that wasn't bad enough, Flipper ran up to me, extremely distraught, and began to say,
Samuel? He's gone.
What? How is that even possible? He was okay when I left. She continued to say that shortly after I left, he began to complain that he wasn't feeling great.
I think I'm beginning to feel weak as well.
I thought back to those chickens. They were covered in a layer of ice and died quickly after. The ice, it seems to be some kind of illness, and that's what's killing mobs. That's why I lost my hearts. All of this is making sense now. I looked at Flipper. She was upset by the loss of her friend, so together we made a small gravesite for Samuel. I knew I had to do something to keep her safe. I hope because she was a seal, she would be able to withstand the ice for longer. To be safe, we started to upgrade the base to keep everyone warmer. We added extra layers of walls to our houses, as well as campfires to the center of each home. Hopefully, this will prevent the spread of whatever illness the ice is bringing. On days 11 to 12, I was trying to find sheep for wool to add extra insulation to our base when I saw something strange walking through the snow. I called out for the person to see what they were doing. They were clearly startled by my appearance, but introduced themselves as Dr. L.
Curious that a mob as large as you has been plagued with this strange sickness.
I told her about the fate of Samuel and the other ice mobs that I've seen. She asked me to come with her back to her base. All right, let's go. Together we traveled, and she continued to explain to me that she has been studying this strange weather phenomenon that has started to plague the world. Have you found anything that might be able to reverse this, or at least slow down the spread?
Possibly, but I don't know if it's even true.
Elle told me that there were rumors of lava crystals that existed long ago, and if the legends are correct, they might be able to be used to combat the ice and its plague. She dropped me a map that would lead me to an ancient lava pool.
I'm still trying to figure out how this all started.
Well, let me know if you find anything about its origins, okay? I'll go and look into the lava crystals. On days 13 to 14, I stopped by my base to make sure everything was okay with Flipper. I didn't need another one of my friends being sick.
I'm starting to feel better thanks to all the base upgrades.
Glad to hear. I headed off toward the lava pit, hoping that the storm wouldn't get any worse and she would be safe. I made my way farther into the snow biome. I wondered how all the mobs affected by this would be feeling. I heard laughing and turned to see two snow golems throwing snowballs at each other. They looked like they were having a blast. Hey, what's going on?
Isn't this great? We go around everywhere. No issues now.
How is this great? The entire world is covered in snow, and everyone seems to be falling sick and dying from it.
Yeah, everyone but us. It's the snow golem's time to thrive now, baby.
They laughed and continued to play. Wow, I guess some people were enjoying this after all. On days 15 to 16, I made it to the lava pool that was on the map. I noticed that there were a lot of cows that had been iced over. When I asked them how they were feeling, they said they didn't feel any different than before. I wonder if the lava was preventing the ice from taking over their bodies. That might just work for the villagers and my base. One problem though, how was I gonna be able to see if those crystals were inside the lava? I began to use my ice breath on the lava and slowly converted it all into ice. The cows were shocked and began to yell at me, but then I noticed there was something red inside of the ice. I broke the ice and received the lava crystal. The cows were amazed to see what I found, and I decided to test it out. I used the crystal on the ice and recreated the entire lava pool. The cows were extremely happy to see their lava had been restored. This could totally help the villagers. I told the cows to stay warm and headed off toward the village to see what could be done. On days 17 to 18, I arrived at the village and started to show off the ice crystals to all of the people. I approached the villagers that were encased in ice and was able to break them out of it. The villagers began to thank me, and I decided to take it one step further. I tried to use the crystal to remove the illness that was covering the villagers. Unfortunately, it didn't work. I was really hoping it would. You know what? Maybe there are more of these that I can combine and make it more powerful. I asked the villagers if they needed anything before I left, and they said,
Our farm has frozen over, and we are starting to run out of food.
I was able to restore that entire lava pool with the crystals. I wonder if the same can be done for the farm. I used the crystal and yes, the farmland was restored to fertile soil again. I helped the villagers replant their seeds. For good measure, I created lava pools near the farm to prevent the blizzard from reclaiming it. The villagers were extremely grateful for my hard work and shared some of their bread with me. I headed off back toward my base. On days 19 to 20, I saw the cows from the lava pit. Hey guys, by the way, do you want a better place to live? They appreciated my offer and returned to my base with me. When I arrived, I built a pen for them at my base and made sure to add campfires to keep them warm throughout the blizzard. I had confidence that with this, they could eventually thaw from their sickness and recover. I checked on Flipper to see how she was doing and showed her the lava crystal.
That's great news, Bozo. I'm starting to feel better as well, thanks to all your help.
I gave her some of the bread that the villagers had given me. I promise, Flipper, I'm gonna make everything right. I'm just gonna need more time. I didn't know if even I believed what I was saying, but I headed to talk to Dr. L. I needed to show her what I was able to find.
Hey, super scary Lich Sir. I believe I've located a piece of your staff.
Good. Maybe there's a way we can repair it. This warden is starting to get on my nerves. You deal with him while I go and retrieve it.
Aw, man, as you wish.
On days 21 to 23, I entered Dr. L's lab and presented her with the lava crystal. She was excited to see that they really did exist and asked me if I'd used it. I told her what I'd been able to accomplish at the village, but revealed it had not been enough to cure the villagers.
I will need more time to find the location of the others, but in the meantime, we will figure out what caused this.
I was nervous to tell her, but I felt I had no other choice. I began to confess to Elle that I had battled with the Lich before. In doing so, I hit him with a sonic boom that appeared to let out a massive amount of energy and caused the blizzard. Elle looked at me in utter shock, and I thought that she was gonna throw me out, but to my surprise, she said,
That is not possible.
she explained to me that the massive flash of light and energy had happened many years ago. Wait, what? What do you mean many years ago?
That was long before the blizzard started to spread.
I started to feel unwell. How long had I been trapped in that ice? While I was trapped, I let Avalis spread his plague across the world. Had I really doomed all those creatures on Earth with my mistake? On days 24 to 26, I returned to my base and noticed that all the pens I had built for the cows were empty. I looked around at my empty base. Flipper, where are you? I called out for her, and luckily, she was inside of our home.
What is it, Fozo?
I told her that I was just glad to see her. Hey, do you need anything? She told me that she had finished all the food we had and was gonna need more. Together, we began to build a farm using the lava crystal to thaw and restore the area so we can plant the seeds. Afterwards, I headed out in search of any information on the lava crystals when I ran into the stray again. What do you want?
Oh, Ice Warden! Behold, a monster that will slay you for the Lich!
Small skeleton walked out from behind him. It moved at a pace of a snail toward me. Wait, you can't be serious. You're talking about this little thing?
Fight the skeleton!
I laughed until the skeleton was right in front of me and launched me in the air. Whoa! That guy had some serious fight in him. I lost most of my health and had no choice but to run away.
Yeah! Who's laughing now, buddy?
I see you have one of my crystals.
On days 27 to 29, I realized with my reduced hearts, I was gonna need something to protect myself from attacks. I tried to search the ice to see if there was anything stuck in it, but I had no luck. I went to a cave and began to mine for iron. I collected some and smelted it down to make myself a chest plate and a helmet. I was about to leave until I noticed there was a large pool of lava behind me. And wait a second, I have an idea. I had a plan that would help the villagers. I set off to the village to tell them my plans, but when I got there, it was swarming with pillagers.
We will destroy this village if you don't do as I say.
I looked around at all the scared people. Man, I had to protect them. Okay, what do you want from me? He said that I was to come with them to their outpost and talk to their leader right now. Fine, let's move then. On days 30 to 32, we reached the pillager outpost, and I saw that they had already captured many creatures. There were both allies and iron golems in cages. I knew I had to help them, but now was not the time. The pillager brought me in front of their leader, and he said,
You will work with us to take over this frozen wasteland.
He explained to me that unlike the other mobs, the pillagers adapted quickly to harsh environments. Together, we will be able to conquer it even quicker. Yeah, I'd rather not do that. You people make me sick. You're nothing but bullies who prey on the weak, and I am not that.
Suit yourself then.
The leader took out a lava crystal? He used it to make a massive lava pit and told the guards to push me in. Oh no, I was terrified. I started to panic as I hit the lava. Ah! Wait a second. I'm a warden, and it's obvious that everyone knows that lava doesn't hurt me. I took out all the guards with ease and then used my sonic boom to take out the leader and steal his ice crystals. As I was leaving the base, I made sure to free all of the creatures that had been captured and headed back.
So, what do we do now?
I don't know. Travel? On days 33 to 35, I returned back to my base and noticed that there were more animal pens with sheep in them. Hey, Flipper, did you do this when I was gone?
Yes, while you were gone, sheep had wandered into the base and needed a place to stay, so I built this for them.
Hey, by the way, are you, still okay? She told me that she had never been happier with the sheep around. I guess they'll provide you some company while I'm gone trying to fix this mess. I headed off to see Dr. L. I arrived at her base and showed her the second lava crystal. Dr. L eagerly took them and combined them for me.
And now, some bad news.
things.
Oh no. She told me that she was able to locate 2 of the lava crystals from her research. But since the pillager leader had one, she didn't know the one he had taken.
One of them is located somewhere in the Badlands and the other is stuck in the Nether.
The Nether, huh? Good to know. I thanked her for the information and headed out. Before I went to the Badlands, I was gonna need to see what this could do for the villagers. On the way to the villagers, I made a quick pit stop at a near cave and grabbed some iron. I used the iron to craft some buckets and then continued on my travels. Once I arrived, I tried the lava crystal on the villagers and yes, it worked. I was able to cure the villagers. I then told them my plan to try and slow down the spread of the blizzard and prevent them from catching this illness again. I started by helping the villagers dig a large trench around the outside of the village before passing buckets out to them. We then set off to the massive lava pool and began to fill the buckets. We returned and slowly started to fill the trench in with lava. If my theory was correct, this should prevent more of the spread.
Thank you so much for everything you have done for us.
Don't sweat it, guys. Just happy to help.
You fool! You must stop this warden at once before it's too late!
I'm trying my best, sir.
Try harder!
On days 39 to 41, I was traveling to the Badlands when I spotted someone who looked familiar. It was Tony, except he had a massive base with a lot of animals and a huge farm. Wait a minute, what are you doing?
It's the end of the world. I just know it. I need to be prepared to survive.
There's other ways that you can help out. You don't need to just hoard food and shelter. The man didn't want to hear anything about it. He just got back to work. All right, well, that guy is seriously weird. I continued to the Badlands and began to search for any lava pools or something that could contain the lava crystal. Suddenly, Ned and his tiny skeleton appeared and ambushed me and began to attack. I was more prepared than ever, though, to fight the skeleton, so I dodged his slow attacks and used the lava crystal on him. Because he was made out of ice, it was super effective, and I was able to take him down with no problem.
This is not the last that you've seen of the great Ned. The ice lich will rise, and you shall fall.
He rushed away. What a weirdo, man. After defeating the skeleton, I noticed. Oh, man. I upgraded again. And I lost another 5 hearts. I had to continue on my journey. I need to find those lava crystals before it was too late. On days 42 to 44, I spotted a massive structure in the Badlands. I entered what appeared to be a temple and started to look around for the crystal. I began to feel like something was watching me. Hello?
Monster has entered the temple.
I looked up and spotted strange ghosts flying above my head. I prepared for a fight, but they didn't attack. They just continued to mock me.
You unleashed a storm and killed your friends. How could you live with yourself?
What? That's not true. Why are you saying that?
You have doomed this world. All of your friends will perish, and it is your fault.
I know I made a mistake, but those small mistakes don't define who you are. And this one is not gonna define me. I will make this right. I will be the savior this world needs. There was a large rumbling, and as I looked up, the spirits all disappeared. I saw a large door had opened, and I entered it. There was a sign that read lava crystal, pointing toward an item frame. Huh, well, that seems easy enough. I rushed towards it, but it was empty. Man, so much for the lava crystal in the Badlands. On days 45 to 47, I exited the temple and spotted the lich flying around. Ned must have given away my position to him.
Come on out, Ice Warden. This ends now.
I wanted to fight, but I was afraid. I only had 10 hearts. I slowly made my way through the Badlands. Eventually, I made it out, and then I headed back toward home. Once I was back at my base, I noticed that Flipper was outside. She was waiting for me, so I asked her what was wrong.
Things are starting to get really cold. The sheep have been complaining about it, and I'm feeling it as well.
Yeah, I know. It's not getting any better as the days go on. I decided it was best to use the lava crystals to create small pools of lava throughout the base and hoped it would alleviate some of the cold. Flipper thanked me for my work, and I headed off to a cave to finish my iron armor set. I wanted to be prepared for when the lich confronted me next. After finishing my armor, I used one of the buckets I had to grab some lava and returned to my base to create a nether portal. Once that portal was finished, I knew that I had to go to the next destination of the crystal. I entered the nether, and what? How is this possible? Everything was covered in snow and ice? Can the lich travel across dimensions too? I started to search the nether for any signs of the lava crystal, but the more I traveled, all I saw was more and more snow. I ran into a group of piglins, and I asked them if they knew anything about the lava crystals.
An Ice Warden.
The piglin asked if I knew anything about the ice. I caught them up on everything I knew. So yeah, that's when I hit the Lich's staff and unleashed this terrible storm all over the world.
You what?
No, wait, you don't understand. It was an accident. The piglins began to attack me, and I was overwhelmed. I had to surrender. Stop, guys.
Perfect. My staff is almost ready.
On days 51 and 53, the piglins took me back to their bastion. They began to question me more and more about what I knew about the storm. I explained to them everything and how it wasn't my fault. Please, you guys gotta believe me. The piglins were reluctant. I showed them the lava crystals I had already gotten, and they were shocked. You guys just need to listen to me, okay? I caused this mess, but I'm trying to fix it for me and for everyone else. The piglins looked at one another and began to discuss. Finally, a brute spoke to me.
We will show you where the crystal is, but in return, you must help us.
I agreed, and a piglin led me to a nether fortress. I entered and was greeted by a group of ice monsters who started to attack me. Somehow, they had replaced the blazes in the fortress. I had to fight back using everything I had and was able to take them down thanks to the piglins' help. I searched the fortress, and in one of the chests, I found the crystal. We headed back to the bastion, and I used its powers to remove all the ice and snow from the area. Wow. The piglins thanked me, and I told them their help would not be forgotten. After leaving the nether, I returned to base to see Dr. L was waiting for me. She started to tell me that she finally understood what the Lich's plan was.
So when you struck his staff with your sonic boom, you didn't actually destroy it. Instead, you sent his ice crystals all over the world. I have managed to track one of the crystals to the jungle, but the Lich was there, so I stayed hidden while he grabbed the crystal.
She thought that he was going to use the crystal and unleash its power once again. But strangely, he didn't. If the Lich has already covered most of the world in ice, what more could he be trying to accomplish? Elle told me that at the center of the world was the largest volcano to ever exist. If the Lich were to freeze this, all of Minecraft would permanently endure the same fate as what we were experiencing. I showed her the lava crystal I found in the nether, and she gladly combined it with the other two. We began to formulate a plan to ensure the survival of everyone on Earth. I would go and acquire the final lava crystal, while Dr. L took it upon herself to find the other crystals before the Lich got his hands on them. Sounds like a plan. We went our separate ways, hoping to see each other again. On days 57 and 59, I returned to the village with the 3 lava crystals. I stood in the center to let out a massive sonic boom. As I looked around, I noticed that all of the snow was gone from the area. It worked! I was finally able to get rid of the snow. The villagers cheered with joy, but I told them our fight for survival was far from over. I began to tell them about the volcano. Does anyone have any information about it?
Yes, there was once an explorer from our village who had found that volcano.
He continued to tell us the villager had traveled to many areas of the world and left detailed maps about the places. He dropped me a map and wished me luck on my journey.
I hope you find what you are looking for, or whatever.
I thanked the villager for all they have done and set out toward the volcano.
So you've decided to aid the Ice Warden, then you must be punished.
On days 60 to 62, I was traveling toward the volcano when I passed by Tony's base. He was standing outside what appeared to be a large bunker entrance. Hey, what are you doing?
I'm gonna wait out this storm. I have everything I need inside.
Well, what are you wearing?
This suit should keep me warm throughout the storm, though.
I tried to explain to the man that the suit he was wearing was for radiation. That's not gonna do anything for the cold. I can tell he had no idea what I was talking about. But I reminded him that he could provide more value helping than hiding.
There's no point. It's better to wait out things like this than fight back.
I don't know if that's the right way to think about it. Listen, everyone's terrified of what the future holds, but only few are brave enough to fight back against it and change it. You can choose to live in fear, or you can be strong and fight on. I headed off toward the volcano, hoping that Tony would listen to what I was saying. I made it, and it was even more massive than I'd expected it to be. Wow, I can see how this provides heat to the world. I began to explore and eventually found an entrance to it. it. I started to search the area within the volcano. Eventually, I came across a note that read,
To whoever finds this armor, I hope it suits you well. Haha, it seems to have properties of fire. Ooh.
I opened the chest I found alongside the note and discovered a suit of armor within. I equipped the armor and realized that all of my hearts had been restored. I had 20 hearts and the ice was removed. It wasn't the lava crystal, but at least I had all my health back. Amazing. I headed back to base to tell Elle about what I had found.
You and your warden friend are too late.
You will never succeed.
On days 66 to 68, I returned to base and noticed that all the sheep had lost their wool. I saw Flipper, and she slowly approached me.
Things are starting to get worse, Fozo.
Flipper, oh man, what happened to all the lava? She told me that the lava was no longer effective against the storm. Flipper and I quickly made upgrades to our houses, adding extra layers of walls. We finally finished. Hey, have you heard anything back from Dr. L? Before she can answer, we were interrupted by Ned arriving.
So we found your stupid base, you warden.
You! What do you want? Here to challenge me once again with your pathetic minions?
Oh, but on the contrary, I came here to ask you where your friends were.
Elle, she must be in danger. I rushed after Ned, following right behind him. On days 69 to 71, I followed Ned to a strange building in the snow. I wasn't able to tell what it was from the outside. As I was about to enter, I finally realized it was a prison made out of ice. I saw Elle was in a cage.
The Lynch granted me some of his powers. He knew that you would follow me. You are so gullible.
Suddenly, the stray began to grow large. Ned began to strike me from a distance using his bow, and I used my sonic boom and ice breath, freezing him in place.
Jeez.
He took out a sword and rushed at me, attacking me at all angles. Our fight continued for some time, but my new armor rebuffed all of his attacks. Eventually, he started to grow weak. Your days of harming the innocent end now.
Wait, no!
I struck him down, and he was defeated. I freed Elle from her cage, and she told me that she found something within the prison. That can wait. First, we need to get you back to safety. On days 72 to 74, we arrived back at the base, and Dr. L prepared to head back to her lab. But I stopped her. You need to stay here. The Lich knows that you work with me, and if something happens to you, then all hope will be lost. We began to work building Elle a place to stay at my base. With Elle secured, I asked her what she found in the prison, and she revealed that it was a map to the final lava crystal. That's amazing news. I can get the crystal back before the Lich completes his staff, and we can finally end this.
Let's not celebrate just yet. Look at your friend.
My friend? I saw Flipper slowly making her way out of the base. It was clear that the illness was starting to take a toll on her.
Things seem to be getting worse. The sheep died while you were gone.
I turned and noticed that they were all missing from their pens. I tried to use my lava crystals on Flipper, but it didn't seem to have any effect. It was clear that I was running out of time. Flipper, you are coming with me. I need you by my side in case we find that lava crystal. I need to make sure you're safe. Together, we headed off toward its location. Flipper and I arrived to the location on the map. We were standing in front of a large desert temple, quickly made our way inside, and began to search for the lava crystal. There was a large rumbling sound, and a massive skeleton appeared in front of us. I froze the skeleton in place, then tried to hit him with my sonic boom. It turned its attention toward Flipper and began to charge at her. Leave her alone! I blocked the skeleton from Flipper and continued to attack him until I finally took the monster down. Suddenly, the Lich appeared.
Did you really think the lava crystal was here? You are a fool!
The Lich cast a spell, and the temple began to collapse on us. I ran toward Flipper to protect her from the debris. On days 78 to 80, Flipper and I were trapped inside the collapsed structure. I looked at her. She was getting weaker. The Lich was always one step ahead of me, and I fell directly right into his trap. We lost. It's over. I doomed the world to start with, and I was too weak to save us from it.
Fozo, you can still do this. The mistakes you made in the past won't change the future. You're the bravest person I know. You just have to be strong.
She passed out in front of me. Flipper! Oh man, maybe she was right. There was still time to fix this. There has to be. I summoned all the remaining energy I had for one last sonic boom and used it to clear a path. I did it! Together, we left. We returned to base, but it was in total ruins. The Lich was there, attacking Dr. L. I jumped into action, fighting against him with everything that I had. I was far more prepared for this fight than I had ever been. The Lich's attacks did less damage to me with my lava armor, and I could tell that he was getting scared. I took out my lava crystal and tried to use it on him, but he immediately started attacking everyone. I heard a scream, and I turned to see Dr. L was hit with one of his attacks, and she was fatally wounded. L, no! The Lich fled from my base, and I rushed to L's side. I asked her if there's anything that I could do to help, but she just shook her head.
Go to the village. Ask where to find the lava crystal. We may still have some time.
She died from her injuries, and I was left there, filled with sadness. I took this time to repair any damages the Lich had done to my base or my friends' homes, and then I made her a small monument. You will not be forgotten, I can promise you that. After saying my final goodbyes, I sought out Flipper. She was still very weak, and I knew that she didn't have much time left. I decided it was best to leave her at my base, and I built her extra campfires for warmth. Hang in there. I'll be back soon. Why is the village covered in snow? Where is everyone? I slowly realized that the Lich must have attacked them as well. No! I put all these people in harm's way, trying to make things right, and look what they got for trusting me. It was the lowest I had ever felt. I was prepared to leave when I noticed a note on the ground, and it talked about the lava crystal. The villagers must have been looking for it as well. So many people have been hurt because of me, but maybe I can still save everyone else. On days 86 to 90, I began to search the lush cave the note had led me to. I could tell that the Lich was afraid of the crystal, and if I was able to find the last one, I could hopefully put an end to all of this. I saw something bright in one of the corners. I ran toward it, and yes, the final lava crystal. As I collected it, I noticed that the crystal combined itself with the others. With the crystal fully merged, I can feel a strong surge of power, and I knew I had to hurry back to Flipper.
At last, the final crystal! Ha! This world is doomed!
I was rushing back to my base and noticed that it had gotten much colder outside.
Warden, come here, quick!
Oh, brother. Not this guy again. What do you want? Can't you see that I'm in a hurry? Tony said that he needed me to see something, so I followed him, and wow, you must have been busy. We went inside his completed bunker. This seriously cannot be your solution. The outside world is about to be doomed forever. You're still hiding? Some of us are fighting to save the world.
I'm not brave enough to fight back. You're much stronger than me, but I wanted to at least offer you a place to stay.
My friend is on the verge of death. I don't have time to hide here with you. I need to hurry back before it's too late.
Then, at least, take this.
The player threw me a lot of iron and an axe. He told me maybe with these, I could forge something that would help me in my fight. I thanked him for finally helping me and left. On days 95 to 99, I arrived at base and quickly rushed to Flipper. She was totally unresponsive to what I was saying. Please work. Please work. I took out the lava crystals and used them on her.
Bozo?
Flipper, you're okay. How do you feel?
I still feel weak, but a lot better. What happened?
You don't have to worry about that now. You're gonna be okay. Listen, I think the Lich acquired the last crystal, and he's planning on freezing that volcano very shortly. I had to act fast. I realized what Tony wanted me to do. I crafted an anvil with the iron that he had given me, and then combined the axe with the lava crystals. And I was now equipped with the lava axe. Hopefully, this is everything I need. I said goodbye and began to travel toward the volcano. I arrived at the volcano on day 100, just as the sky was starting to go dark. I slowly climbed my way to the top and saw the Lich was about to unleash the power of his ice crystals. I shot my sonic boom at him, and it staggered him for a second.
You're too late, Warden. You lose.
I'm here now, and I'm ready to end what I started.
Is that so? Then you shall die before the rest of your friends.
The Lich and I began to fight. I used my ice crystal to freeze him in place while I rushed at him with the lava axe. It was obvious that he wasn't prepared for something as powerful as this. We continued to fight, and I knew that I was slowly weakening him. The Lich hit me with a powerful attack and broke off some of the lava armor. I started to feel weak. I really failed again? No. Suddenly, I remembered what Flipper had told me.
You're the bravest person I know. You just have to be strong.
I felt more alive than I'd ever. I didn't need my armor to defeat the Lich. I just had to believe.
No, this is all wrong!
No, this is exactly how it is supposed to be. I hit him with the axe, taking him down for good. The world was finally restored, free from the eternal winter.